Hey everybody, it's Thursday night. I'm Josh with Haven Comics. We're here for some shop talk. Tonight, Alan and I are going to be talking about uh, whatever we want to talk about. It's just the stuff that Alan and I find interesting, and we hope you do too. And we hope to have a chat with you in the chat and all that business. A chat in the chat. I'm very eloquent tonight. Look at me. Anyway, hit the like button and all that jazz while we play the intro. Man, I love that intro every single time. Love, love, love that intro. Thank you to Nick Ellis from Two Brothers Comics for making that happen. That is super cool. Speaking of things that are super cool, Alan.
So, in my never-ending quest to try to find somebody cool and interesting to come on this show, I just tweeted Mark Hamill and said, "DM me if you want a link. Let's see what happens." I would
Dude,
fall
I
out.
would keel over.
If you all of a sudden see me just go down and like I'm out, it happened.
Yeah, if he pops up down there, I will just keel over. Holy crap, that would be
So,
amazing.
I literally, on weeks that we do not have a guest, I will post the link to the YouTube show on Twitter and say, "Hey, we're getting ready to go live if anybody wants to talk comics." And then I literally tag, I've got Todd McFarlane, Chip Zdarsky, Tom Taylor, Tom King, AWA Studios. We're still waiting on them. I really want them. Mad Cave Studios, Mark London from Mad Cave. And this week, I just added Mark Hamill for the fun of it.
Why not?
Yeah, never can tell.
You never know. You know
Honestly,
what the answer will be if you don't ask.
yep. Honestly, out of all the people that we would possibly tag for something like that, he would be the one that I would see would eventually respond.
Dude, he comes on here and gives us even one line of Joker voice.
Oh, it's done. It's done. And I will ask him the question when Harley plainly asked in the animated series, "Don't you want to rev your Harley?" Why didn't he give an answer?
Probably because he couldn't. It was a family show.
Well, well, they still put that whole scene in there.
That's true. They did. Let's see who all we got tonight. We got Tots.
Why not?
Tots. Man, good to see you. Need to talk to you about coming on the show some nights. We can talk about board games and such because I know you've got quite the collection. One thing, and Jeremy, I was going to bring it up, but thank you for bringing that up too. Peter Lewis, longtime friend of the quiz show and here of Shop Talk, he is managing a Spirit Halloween store at the Parkway Place Mall, and they are doing a charity for. I want to make sure it's called Spirit of the Children. I think, yeah. Uh, they essentially donate a lot of things to the Women's and Children's Hospital of Huntsville. All the money that they make goes to them 100%. And they also donate costumes that help to make it hospitals less scary for kids. Because think about it, hospitals a really scary place for a kid, and so that's a fun charity. And also, if you donate $10 or more, you get to smack the manager of Spirit Halloween in the face with a pie. And since Peter Lewis is the manager, um, you get to smack him in the face. Now, I want you to know he's got a lot of hair. So if you do it right, that pie, it's gonna be something. So he's got a good beard too. So yeah, go to Spirit Halloween at Parkway Place Mall, and if you're gonna go to Spirit Halloween anyway, go to that one and make a donation of at least $10, if for no other reason, so you can smack him in the face with a pie, because that's how we roll at Haven. We got Nate Saint. What's happening, Nate? Good to see you, man. Matt Posey. Look who we got here. Kevin Smith. We should add Kevin Smith to the list.
I tried because I really wanted to do a T-shirt that a line from the movie Mallrats, where he walks down into the vault where Banky keeps all the. I say Banky because there was another character he played, where he keeps all his comics, and he says, "Hey, I see your comic book collection has grown," and he says, "Usual vault rules apply. Touch not, lest ye be touched." And I really wanted to make a T-shirt that said "Touch not, lest ye be touched." And I did everything I could to get in touch with Kevin Smith to ask him if I could do it, and he just wouldn't respond. So,
Well, we can keep trying.
yes, we can. And I might just end up just doing that T-shirt anyway, and then dealing with the lawsuit later.
Deal with that cease and desist. We got
Mm-hmm.
Bill Fisher in the house. Yeah, man. Mark Hamill does the absolute pinnacle of the Joker voice.
Yep.
If I could have the Joker drawn by Jim Aparo and with Mark Hamill on the voice, that's just how the Joker is.
So and hopefully he's still on, Jeremy Bernal, on Tuesday nights, Jeremy and Wyatt do the drinking draw.
Yeah.
And if y'all are not watching that, that's actually really fun. This month, Jeremy has been doing something Halloween related. And he is also, if you just get on there and make one simple comment.
Hang on. Ryan!
What
man,
up?
good to see you. Haven't seen you in a bit. Hope you were doing well, man.
You will be entered just by making one simple comment and letting them know you will be entered for a sketch card. I actually won the sketch card a couple of weeks ago, and Jeremy, I just said, hey, it's Halloween. Let's do Dracula. Absolutely amazing Dracula. Y'all have got to go start watching this on Thursday nights. Wyatt will try to come up
Tuesday
with some type of drink. Tuesday night. Wait a minute, we're Thursday nights. Let me rephrase that.
Yeah, don't watch anything else on Thursdays.
Yeah,
he would feel lonely.
The only thing we're drinking is Sprite, and the only thing we're drawing on Thursday is blanks. So, yeah, I would definitely go check that out on Tuesday nights and give Jeremy complete and total help.
That's half the fun of it right there.
Mm-hmm.
That's like giving Dustin and Nick Ellis grief on Two Brothers on the Babylon on Saturday nights.
Oh, and I was given such grief the last Babylon. Such grief.
We might have to get Nick Ellis back on here because he has taken off reading The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings, and it's like the swimming pools where it's this deep for a good bit, and then it does this, and then the real handy dandy pools drew this at the end, and then drop off real steep. He just went off the real steep bit. Like he's bidding on multiple print run editions of The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, picking up early printings. I mean, he's gone all out. I'm honestly a little bit jealous because I've never been that guy. I still just have the versions I got when I was 12 years old.
That is one book series that I have never read. And they're not that long, are they? I mean, they're relatively small books.
Hey, Mike Weslowski in the house. Now, Mike, have you gotten that picture back from Scott Johnson yet? Because if so, I'm going to need to see that because that looked amazing.
See, I didn't think it looked that good. He just needs to send it to me, and I'll hide it away from him, and he just try again.
That's fair. That's fair. That sounds like something Mike would go for. Is Ring of Power any good? Honest feedback only. All right. Strap in, because I'm gonna tell you, Ring of Power, I'm sure, is fantastic if you've never read Tolkien. If you've never read Tolkien, I am certain that it is fantastic and it is amazing. If you have read Tolkien, it's extraordinarily frustrating and all the things. It's like watching somebody make a Batman movie that's Batman movie in name only. It could have just been any generic fantasy thing. They just borrowed all the names. They set it in a place called Gotham, and it has a guy called Batman. It's so frustrating. They change fundamental things. First and foremost, the one that bothers me is the nature of elves. The very first scene of the very first episode is some young elves bullying another elf, and
please tell me
that instead of they live a long time, but they're wise and mirthful and have this they do have a sense of humor. They all look like bankers who somebody hasn't been paying back their loans. That's what they look like. That's what they act like. There's poorly done court intrigue. There's some weird stuff going on. where mithril is. I, they redefine what mithril is, and that's really bothersome. And the elves have to have it to live. Hang on, Nosh is in the house.
What up, Big Notch?
He's at work. He's on break. So, man, Nosh, we appreciate you popping on, dude. It's always good to see you. We need to have you come on the show one night and
I don't
talk
know.
about how it is you get into the Babylon every week, because it is an obstacle course you have to get through, up, over, and around just to make it there. With people trying to take you out, it's incredible.
Well,
We'd have to bring you on to hear about it.
I'm thoroughly convinced that Nosh is the hardest working man in the country, because I have never known him. I've known him to be off work one time. And even then, he was picking up some stuff to make a bookshelf. I'm sitting there thinking, brother, go home, take a nap. It's going to be all
right. Nate says he thinks it's great. Red told you just can't take it seriously. It seems to build off the video game a lot. That is weird. The video game has elements that I enjoy from a play perspective, but it had the underlying philosophies are just so far removed from Tolkien, completely removed from Tolkien. It's troublesome. This whole thing where they have to have an elf and a somebody else romantic relationship all the time now is extremely frustrating. There were 2 cases of it in all of Tolkien, one in the Silmarillion and one in the Lord of the Rings, and that spanned thousands and thousands and thousands of years. They've got them popping up all over the place. When Peter Jackson did the Hobbit movies, the most ridiculous thing in the world was this forced Hobbit elf romantic relationship. What in the world is that nonsense? And now here they have to have it with between a human and it's like, come on, guys, we don't need this. This is not integral to anything, and it just feels like you're rehashing the same ground because it was popular in one storyline. You can't just keep doing that. I've read Tolkien a lot. As y'all can tell, I'm invested in Tolkien pretty heavily. So the fundamental changes to characters and to entire species and to timelines and who people are and what they're doing are highly bothersome to me. Do not care for it. It looks pretty. I'll give it that. It looks pretty. But if you're a fan of Tolkien and you take it seriously like I do, possibly too seriously, it's just not for me. Bothers me. Nosh is working on a bookshelf. Does that mean putting stuff on the bookshelf, or does that mean building a bookshelf? Curious. Strangers. I'm pretty sure that's who that's going to be. I mean, it might not be. They might make it one of the Blue Wizards, one of the other 5 Astari, but I suspect that's going to be Gandalf. The whole like talking to bugs and stuff like that. That's very what they did with him in the movies. So that would be my guess. The big guess is, who does everybody think is going to be Sauron?
So, speaking of things that's bothersome, are we willing to go like full-blown spoiler on She-Hulk for a moment? Because there was one thing about that episode that I was just kind of on.
Would that be toward the very end with an introduction?
Yes, the way that person looked.
Oh, 100% agree with that.
I got so confused there for a second.
Hang on a second. Need to get to Haven soon because my little dude told me we haven't been in far too long. Man, I love your kids. They're spot on. Good kids. Yeah, man, it's always good to see you guys when y'all are able to make it down. Wait a minute. I don't think so, but that would be interesting. I'm pretty sure it's the supposed king of the Southlands. I also want to know, geographically, how is the Southlands Mordor? Mordor is in the east. They go to the Southlands to get the Haradrim and to get reinforcements and stuff, but Mount Doom is way up and in the east. That makes no sense that the Southlands, poof, Mount Doom.
Now, is the Mordor. Southlands, is that the same place that Mrs. Claus wanted it to snow so Santa could take off that one year?
Correct.
Okay, just checking.
Yep. Yep. Let's jump over to Southeast, like Florida. You know they don't count.
People only our age just got that reference of what I just said.
That's probably true. That's probably true. Um, so She-Hulk. First of all, let's talk about She-Hulk. The show itself, the concept of the show, has been an interesting one. It breaks the fourth wall, but not a ton, right? They don't do it a lot. They
And
do
the
it
timing of the fourth
consistently, but not a
wall.
lot.
Yeah, the timing of the fourth wall breaks has actually been perfect.
Right, enough to remind you that it's goofy and then that's a thing, but not so that it gets in the way of the story. Now people say, but there is no story. Okay, so it's episodic in nature. I get that. Is it the best thing they've done? No, I don't think so. Is it really enjoyable? And did I enjoy it? Yeah, I absolutely did. I thought it was a lot of fun. Some interesting things. It was great to see Daredevil. Shocker for anybody who doesn't know. They've been talking about him showing up forever. Daredevil does come and put in an appearance. There's a lot of humor involved in that, which ticks off a lot of people, but Daredevil is not Batman. He actually does have a personality outside of the mission.
Even in the Daredevil comics, it's not dark and gritty all the time.
Right.
So I mean, he has his moments. I mean, he's probably out of those type of characters, he's probably the most human out of them.
I would agree with that. What did you think about the appearance of Leapfrog? Did you think Leapfrog was done well? Did that make you laugh?
What was that little saying that he would try to say just as he took off?
His attempted catchphrase?
Yeah, his attempted catchphrase.
Ribbit and rip it?
Yeah, ribbit and rip it. To me, I thought that was funny. And then literally when he flew out the window and instantly crashed, I was rolling at that because that's something that I would do. That's how that would work out for me. The guy that they had portray him and the way he was running around the lily pad and everything, I thought that was great. I mean, I actually enjoyed it. Was a dumb character, but I actually enjoyed it.
Well, the character was dumb in the comics. I mean, when he was first introduced.
Your brother can apparently only respond to text messages with a GIF. I have no idea what we talked about for an hour this afternoon, but it was nothing but GIFs. So I'm trying to get with him tomorrow.
It was to the point, Dustin, where he wasn't sure he was actually talking to Nick, or if Nick had just sent him some funky number.
Well, he did send me that funny little address, but we won't go into where that address actually is.
Just not a family place. We'll say that. Just in case you wanted to swing by and pick it up. Yeah, since it's like for fun call, right?
Yeah, really.
Yeah, that was good stuff. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to spoil it. It just came out today. I don't want to spoil it, but we can talk about the nature of the fourth wall break today in the last episode of She-Hulk.
Honestly, when it first started happening, I got just a little bit confused. Because when it first happened, this is so true. Yeah, I was kind of it only took him like an hour to respond with a GIF of Jeff Goldblum. So, but when the fourth wall break actually happened, I was watching it on my phone and I was like, and if you know how the app is set up on the phone, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. I was just kind of like, huh? And then she started talking and I'm like, okay, just roll with it. I see, I see where we're going.
We're not spoiling anything. There's a fourth wall break in every episode. The way that this one was done was just a little bit different. And Frank, it was really long too. I was surprised by the length of it, but it absolutely cracked me up. And the thing that made me, I know, and that's cool. I appreciate that. The thing that made me really laugh, two things. One was the person she thought she was going to be talking to.
Yes.
That was hilarious. But then how they used that moment to offhandedly address all of the criticisms
Yep.
that have been lobbed at Marvel for the past umpteen months or longer. I thought that was really funny and really well done.
My favorite part of that whole exchange between her and that
The person,
person,
yeah, who she
um,
thought she was talking to.
yeah, that she thought she was talking to, was hey, can you change back off screen? The special effects department is off, and plus that's really expensive.
Yes.
That owned me. I thought that was great.
Yeah, that was fantastic. But on the whole, I thought it was a really good show. I thought it was a lot of fun. It had some weaker episodes where you're kind of like, okay, this is a little bit snoozy. Uh, but on the whole, I thought it was really enjoyable and it was fun. And they're all short episodes, so not a big deal. If you want something that's going to be lighthearted and fun, but still feels like it's in the same world, I think that's a really good one to watch and good one to check out.
Yeah, anybody that, I mean, I understand that a lot of people didn't like it, but anybody that really went into that show expecting like
A
a
serious
really
story.
strong story and depth of character and everything, they obviously knew nothing about it to begin with. It's kind of, as bad as I hate to say it, because I really do enjoy this person's movies. It's like watching a Kevin Smith movie. If you're going into the movie theater thinking that you paid for depth and serious story, you're in the wrong movie theater. So, I mean, it was supposed to be fun. It was supposed to be lighthearted, and I think they nailed it. I mean, I really enjoyed it.
So, what's your snack of choice for watching Kevin Smith movies?
Um,
There's only one correct answer.
there's only one correct answer.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, my snack of choice at any movie is always going to be popcorn. But if I got to go with candy, I want the hot tamales.
No, no, no. The only snack of choice for watching Kevin Smith movies is chocolate covered pretzels.
Uh, all right, you got me. Yeah, you got me. Moving right along.
I feel queasy just thinking about it.
That was honestly, that's pretty bad when that was the best Kevin Smith movie. I mean, none were better.
I will absolutely agree. I think that Mallrats was by far his best.
Yep.
Fantastic movie. I
So
still can't believe that he got Stan Lee in there for that.
the conversation that Stan Lee had to have, that had to be the reason why he agreed to do that movie.
So great.
Because, and honestly, at some point, every comic book nerd in their life has thought about that stuff.
Now, while I'm thinking about it, Dustin, if you're still here, have you ever seen Mallrats?
And we both looked
the conversation that we're talking about directly applies to a character that you like. Filmate Studios, what's happening, Chris? Chris says Dogma all the way. Dogma was good. My favorite thing about Dogma was when Kevin Smith came up to the building and people were outside protesting, and he just got a sign and joined them in the protest of his own movie.
Yeah,
that made me laugh.
No, the one I'm thinking of is Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, where Ben Affleck played like every single one of the characters he's ever played in a Kevin Smith movie.
Yep.
Yeah, that was that one. Yeah, Dogma was good.
Chasing
George
Amy
Carlin
was really good
as a priest, I thought was hysterical.
Yes.
Because if you know George Carlin stand up, you will know why it's hysterical.
Yeah. All right, Dustin, whether you're a Kevin Smith fan or not, you got to watch the movie Mallrats.
Yep.
That movie is an absolute must watch. There's a conversation that happens in there between the protagonist of the story and Stan Lee about Ben Grimm. That's all I'm going to say. But you need to watch at least that scene because that is priceless.
Yep. So, what did you think of Werewolf by Night? We might be on this one for a minute.
Yeah, I think so. I've watched it twice. And what did I think of Werewolf by Night? Let me think. Since this seems to be a thing in politics these days, 2 words. I loved it.
Yes. This is my only.
People can't count anymore, so everything is 2 words.
2 words?
No, I absolutely loved it. I thought it was brilliant.
My only complaint with all of Werewolf by Night is a stupid complaint, and here it is. It was too good. There's nowhere for them to go now. I mean, it was like the perfect 1 hour. I mean, it was just everything about it was great. The beginning, the middle, the end, everything that we got in it was absolutely perfect. I have no idea who this director is, but that is the director that I want to see introduce Dracula. That is the director that I want to
Living
see.
Mummy.
Yeah, the Mummy. I mean, whoever this person is absolutely nailed the Universal monster movie vibe.
If I remember correctly, and Chris, you correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure that Michael Giacchino is the director. He normally does music. He's a composer, but I believe he directed this one.
You know what? There is another way to find out.
What are you insinuating that we have the Google in our hands and we can find out?
I am about to use the internet for good.
Oh boy,
Mm-hmm.
y'all, he might get struck by lightning. We don't know. I will say, the whole 40s, 50s horror aesthetic that they did in this movie, I thought was brilliant. And it was so many things. It wasn't just they just stuck a black and white filter on it and that was it. It was the transformation into Werewolf by Night and the way they did it with the lights and the shadows. And they didn't show it to you because that's not how they did it back in the day, right? It's how they
Yep.
do it now with CGI, but that's not how they did it back in the day because they couldn't. Uh, just the introductions of all the various characters. One of my favorite characters in the whole thing was the wife, Ulysses Bloodstone's wife.
Oh, she was amazing
She
in it.
was such a perfect 50s, 40s, 50s character actress with her drama. She
Mm-hmm.
was brilliant. Uh, the whole scene where she's like, Ulysses Bloodstone, he's dead. He can't be here with us, but he made arrangements to be here with us. That set the tone for me right out of the gate, and I loved it.
There was an actress from that era, Joan Crawford. That's
Mm-hmm.
what I'm thinking of. There were elements in her, the way she portrayed Mrs. Bloodstone, just the way she kind of delivered her lines reminded me of Mommy Dearest. You know,
Oh
kind of
yeah,
a little bit of overacting. I mean, I just thought it was great. I enjoyed the whole thing.
I
And
loved it.
you are correct, and I'm going to butcher his name because I was born in Alabama. Michael Giacchino is who
I
directed it.
think it's Giacchino.
Okay,
I
it was
think.
actually the story was by Heather Quinn. I've never heard of her, but she wrote an amazing story for this show.
It what they got right here was something that they might not have been getting right on a few things of late. They just jumped in. They didn't spend a whole lot of time telling you his tragic backstory. They didn't spend a whole lot of time building up all of the villains and making them all ooh so believable. They didn't do any of that. They just jumped into the story. They set up a scene. Here you go. It's like the old movies of Clue or the murder mysteries where here's the scene, here are the people, somebody's dead, let's go.
Yep.
Um, and it was fantastic. It was exactly what it needed to be.
I mean, I would love to see more of it. I would love to see something in the future between Moon Knight and Werewolf by Night. I mean,
Oh well, that's got to happen.
that's got to happen. But at the same time, if this only becomes a every Halloween thing, I would be happy with that. I mean, it
Oh,
would. Remember when we were kids and we knew that right around Thanksgiving every year, Wizard of Oz was coming on.
well, yeah, the Wizard of Oz, and then there was also all the peanut specials,
Yep.
the
I mean, this
Halloween
could
special.
actually
Watch out
be
for the Great
something like
Pumpkin.
that. We could literally do something like that.
Do, 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 do,
It
do,
was
do,
such a
do.
success. I'm pretty sure that they're going to start pushing hardcore into it now.
Here's the thing that threw me and really surprised me. The internet is generally a pretty like ranges from mildly toxic to automatic death,
Oh,
right?
it's a wasteland.
It's a generally pretty much a wasteland. I haven't seen anybody outside of a couple, and this is really interesting to me. A couple of comics pros who were like, I didn't think that was very good. I haven't seen anybody who has just poured the vitriol out over Werewolf by Night like they have everything else.
Yep.
Everybody seems to have enjoyed this one, and that's awesome. It made me very happy. I just hope they don't learn the wrong lesson from it and go the wrong direction with it. I hope that they go, okay, more of this people will respond well to.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that really worked for me on it was you get the very beginning of it. They acknowledge the Avengers, they acknowledge the time that they're in, and then that's it. They move on. It's hey, we understand what's going on. This is it, blah, 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 but this isn't that story. Let's go that direction.
So, question. Did you see the Gore the God Butcher homage?
The Gore the God Butcher homage in Werewolf by Night?
Yes, sir.
No, which one are we talking about? Because I'm
at
thinking
the very beginning. At the very beginning,
yeah,
where he shows up at the place where they're going to do the thing, and he comes walking through that tunnel, and it's got those mosaics painted on the, or not mosaics, but those murals painted on the wall.
Yep.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
If you look at the very first one that he looks at, that's the pose that the big character in the middle that's being killed is right out of Thor. And that's Gore the God Butcher.
Okay, so I still have not watched Thor Love and Thunder yet.
Well, it's not from the movie. It's from the comics.
Okay, gotcha. All right. Yeah, I'll have to watch Werewolf by Night again because I totally missed it.
Yeah, if you don't know what Gore the God Butcher looks like and you wouldn't recognize that panel, you would go right past you. Yeah. But if you've read Thor and you would recognize that comic book panel, you can't unsee it. It's right there.
Okay. All right, I'll check it out. I'll watch it again. Probably end up watching it this weekend.
It's so good.
Mm-hmm.
But I got to tell Nick Ellis about that. Maybe he'll have a little bit of joy in his heart to see. There he is, right there. Nick, what's up, brother? We were just talking. Nick, have you seen the Werewolf by Night on Disney Plus yet?
I know he's seen it because they were talking about it on Babylon.
Okay, then Nick, did you see Gore the God Butcher in Werewolf by Night? Because he is there. Like we're all going to wait for him to answer. There you go. He did see it. See, it didn't ruin it. They redeemed it because he was in something good.
Oh, Nick, very important question. Are we supposed to meet at that address on Ware Avenue? I told Josh about that.
The answer to his last question still stands.
Yeah, the answer to his last question still stands.
Okay, I don't know if I would say to date. Because it's hard to beat the original Iron Man. The original Captain America, First Avenger is still my number one. And there have definitely been some other amazing films in the MCU. So I don't know that I would say Werewolf by Night is the best thing they've done to date. I will say it is a perfect hour and by far the best thing I think they've put on Disney Plus as a Disney Plus original. Since Endgame, he meant. Yeah. That I might could give you. But I thought it was brilliant. Really, really enjoyed it. It definitely makes me... Here's the thing I thought it was really successful at. I want to see more of all of those characters. I mean, is there a single one of them you don't want to see more of? You want to see more of Werewolf by Night. You want to see more of Man-Thing. You want to see more of Elsa Bloodstone.
Mm-hmm.
They were really successful at that. I want to see more of all of them.
And, the thing about it is, Man-Thing does not have to be a part of every single one of them. So they really can't sit there and say that it would be budgeting because they got to do the suit and stuff like that. I mean, he could show up. He could not be there. I mean, with Werewolf by Night, they could literally have, Moon Knight, Blade, Dracula. I mean, they could introduce a lot of characters into it.
There's a panel from a Spider-Man comic. It might have been a Marvel team-up book. I forget. But from back in the 70s, maybe early 80s, where Man-Thing is standing here like this, and Spider-Man is trapped in the middle of him, like trying to get out. I would love to see that take place on camera.
That would be interesting.
I have to see if I can find that image.
Yeah, we do keep referring to him as Mad Thing, but his name is actually Ted. Sorry.
Talk for a minute while I try to find that image somewhere.
Can you see? So Nick, he said that it was in the very beginning when Werewolf by Night actually shows up at Bloodstone Manor in the hallway. One of the pictures.
It's the very first one on the left, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, he said well, never mind. You just said it. He heard you say it. I get everything right. Did I not respond with the proper gifts earlier? I mean, you had to stop because I literally one-upped all the gifts with Nacho Libre.
Did you Nacho Libre him to death?
I Nacho Libre'd him.
All right, I found the image. And as soon as it uploads, I'm going to post it because this one right here. How awesome is that?
Dude, that is, I mean,
that's just spectacular.
Yeah, I like that.
I mean, your imagination just runs wild, right? You're like, what is going on in this story? Such a cool story. And if I remember correctly, at the end of that issue, because all these people are terrified and run away, and Man-Thing Ted is not a real brainiac. He responds to people's emotions, and when they are afraid, he kind of has that reaction against that, and that's what you burn at the touch of the Man-Thing, right? But he sits on there's a blind man sitting on a bench. The blind man can't see him. And he ends up sitting or standing near the blind guy on the bench, and the blind guy is just talking to him nice as can be because he's not afraid. He doesn't have any sense. I'm sure that Man-Thing doesn't smell great, but he doesn't have any sense of what he looks like or that he's a monster. So he just talks to him, and he's just nice. And so it ends with this really pleasant kind of like, oh, yeah, all right. But no, really, really fantastic. Can you show me Gore the God Butcher on? Do I need to find that and show it to you?
That's what I was trying to explain to him while he was looking for that picture, exactly where it was at. Actually, well, I mean, we see you're looking at it. We'll Google it. Are you Googling it?
Yeah.
Okay. So not trying to change the subject or anything, but the bug is just a little bit excited at the house when I told her this evening that Allison from Hocus Pocus and the voice of Binks the cat is going to be at the Huntsville Pop Culture Expo.
Heck yes.
So that kind of makes me wonder, are we going to get 2 more announcements to complete the quartet? Hopefully, maybe.
That would be pretty amazing, wouldn't it?
That would be a blast because we absolutely love. I mean, honestly, and I have not watched it yet, but Bug only made it about 20 or 30 minutes into Hocus Pocus 2 and turned it off. She did not like it, but I think she was wanting the book because she loved the sequel book. Where have you read the book?
No.
So in the sequel, it's actually Allison and the guy, it's their kid that it's happening to. And she loved that. She loved the book series or the second book.
Okay. I believe that.
So I do plan on watching Hocus Pocus 2. I just hadn't got around to it yet. And yes, this is a very accurate comment.
Hang on, I found the image. I don't have the side-by-side image. Man, it's not the kind. Hang on, I gotta do a different thing because it's not the kind of.
Side note: Mark Hamill has not responded yet.
What?
Yep. Neither has Todd McFarlane. I tagged both of them in the tweet. They're just not going to have anything to do with this tonight.
Well, I hold that against them both.
So if they were to try to do something along the lines of Monsters Unleashed, who would you want playing some of these characters? What are your thoughts on that?
Ugh. Boy, I don't know. That is a top of. I got nothing off the top of my head. I have to think about that for a minute. I don't know.
So, in my mind, Ghost Rider would have to be Keanu Reeves.
Why?
I don't know. He just fits perfectly. But if you ever talk to Dustin Ellis, tell him that Ghost Rider has to be Norman Reedus no matter what. And see how far that gets you in the conversation.
Oh yeah, he'll shut that down fast. All right, here we go. I don't have the side by side picture that shows from the comic panel, but this right here on the left,
Yep.
the guy being killed in the comic, the guy behind him is Thor with an axe. There is no dude in front. But this character right here being killed is Gore the God Butcher, and if you can find the comic panel, they line up perfectly.
I remember the scene, but totally missed it.
Well, it makes me want to study the rest of these because I haven't had a chance to do that yet. But he looks at all the rest of these, and I really want to study the rest of them because I bet that's got to be cool.
That's what I'm looking at now. Oh, go back for a second. Pull that back up.
All right.
Oh, I thought I'm over here fixing to start pointing at my screen like you can see what I'm talking about. The looks like a Viking ship that's on the left to the left of Gore.
Yeah.
You don't think that was that balloon ship thing with the flying goats that they were riding in, do you, in the trailer?
Maybe.
Or is that too much of a stretch?
I don't know. Could be.
Yeah, like I said, I still have not watched Love and Thunder. It's one of those, if I watch it, I'll watch it. If I don't, I don't. So many people complained about that movie so long that I feel like I've seen it.
It's not all bad, I'm sure. It's like I knew what they were trying to do. They just didn't get it. They just didn't.
The Daredevil Walk of Shame was amazing. That was great.
Yeah, that was some good stuff. We don't want to spoil who the intro is. They do introduce a character in the last episode of She-Hulk right at the end. A character that, for my money, could have gone unintroduced forever, or at least for a really long time.
Or if they were so bound and determined to introduce this character, they could have done a lot better with the CGI.
Yeah. You know that thing where they take a character like they did with Princess Leia or they did with Grand Moff Tarkin, and they do the CGI to make them look younger. This looked like they took this character from the model of another character and then tried to make him a different size and make him look younger. And it didn't work.
I understand on some level they did it the way that they did it, just so it was, and I may end up using the wrong word here. It was very, I want to say ambiguous, but it's the wrong word. Anybody could still play that character. It's not.
Yes.
It's very. It was. You knew who it was, but at the same time, it was extremely vague, and it almost looked like unfinished CGI.
Yeah, it was a throwaway moment, I thought.
Yeah.
Certainly wasn't. We're not telling. We don't want to spoil it for anybody, just in case anybody cares, Nick. I don't think anybody will, but on the off chance that they do, we don't want to spoil it. I mean, the episode just dropped today.
Yep.
So we gonna be good.
If you actually text me a legitimate question, like actual words, maybe I'll tell you.
Or he might just send you another Nacho Libre.
Yeah, there for just a minute, I was actually worried that you had given me like somebody else's phone number and this other person was just messing with me.
You know, that's not beyond Nick to do.
Yeah, well, especially after the address he gave me.
Well, that's true. I'm trying to. I just got a box in today It's got a couple of comics in it, and I don't remember what they are.
Oh, well, that's the best kind of box.
Peter Lewis. Hey, man, this is the guy, y'all. If y'all want to smack him in the face with a pie, go to the Spirit Halloween at Parkway Place Mall. You got to go to the right one and donate at least $10, and then you get to pop him in the face with a pie. So you can't go wrong with that.
Where is the Spirit Halloween in Parkway Place Mall?
That I don't know, but Lord knows they've got plenty of open spots.
What happened to that place? I mean, that was. I mean, just about all malls are going away.
Well, malls went. I had this discussion with somebody the other day. Malls went to a. They were the place to be, right, for a long time, and then they started charging rent that was just outrageous. Yeah, I don't know if you get to choose the pie flavor or not. I'm sure he does not want a face full of Rocky Road or something because that would hurt. No coconut cream pie, just the shells. Ah! Yeah, this is literally, I think, 2 comic books. So we'll see what we got. It'll be a pleasant surprise for all of us. Anyway, just down from the cookie and pretzel shop. But anyway, I think malls, I know for a fact their rent that they charged was outrageous. And then they levied all these rules on top of it. You have to be open during all hours. The mall is open and all these kind of things. So you have to be open from 9 o'clock to 9 o'clock. So that really limits the kinds of stores you can get. And they never believed that when people started moving out, that their prices should come down. So they never made it available to other stores, and they would rather sit on empty space and charge a lot of money for that space than to fill it with businesses who could, viably, live there. And this is true across malls across the country. And then so they became ghost towns. And once a mall becomes a ghost town, people stop going. No new businesses want to move in because nobody's going, and it becomes a really ugly cycle. So let's see, what comics did I just get? Bug's not there with you, is she?
No, she is not.
Because she might like this one.
Yep, she will definitely like that one. Oh, and I did see where you signed me up for Scarlet Witch. Thank you. She's going to want that.
Of course I did. But yeah, there you go. What if, featuring the Avengers disassembled? So what if the Scarlet Witch just disassembled the Avengers? That's a new one. And then I got this one because that's just a fun one.
Nice.
Godzilla #3 against the champions. All right, so let me ask you this, because this is a really honest to goodness comic book guy kind of question, right?
Mm-hmm.
The champions and the defenders. Did you ever read either of those books?
No, I did not. I knew who they were, but I just never really got into them. I was more Justice League and X-Men, and actually what ended up becoming X Factor. I would give anything if they would bring back the original X Factor. I think that would be a lot of fun. And there for a while, I believe it or not, I actually got into Excalibur with Captain Britain. But I just never got into champions or defenders. Mainly because it was, as far as defenders were concerned, the character Jessica Jones, I was always kind of meh on that character. And there was really not a lot there to, I guess for lack of a better word, excite me. Even though, yeah, I like Luke Cage, I was never a big Iron Fist fan. And then champions, I always kind of was down on the Hercules character just because we already had Thor. In DC, we had Ares. I just kind of felt like he was a character that was thrown in to compete with some of the other bigger characters, but just never did. And I mean, I could be wrong at the way I look at it. I mean, it's one of those I reserve the right to be wrong, but I just never got into those books.
Well, there's a reason that those books are not very valuable, not very popular, and that's because nobody got into those books. Really strange. They both felt like groups that were just thrown together. Uh, they never felt like they gelled or had a whole lot of reason for being. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, let's just take these random characters. They don't have anywhere else to be. Let's put them together on a team. It just felt strange to me. Both of those books felt that way. It's like, I think we can sell some books, but we need a character. Just put these guys in. We'll see if that works.
So you're questioning your own excitement? How avant-garde.
How avant-garde. How droll. How avant-garde.
So since we've been kind of, and this is not comic related, but we have been going with the Halloween theme, have you watched Anne Rice's Interview with the Vampire? I think the first 2 episodes are out.
I have not.
I like the changes that they've made. They definitely modernized it. Because, I mean, the original book did come out, what, 78, 77, somewhere right around there?
Yeah, somewhere in there.
They did modernize it. There's a couple of changes that they made that I didn't think were really necessary, but it did not hurt the story at all. And there's been a couple
yes, Valkyrie was in the Defenders for a while. Yes.
Yep.
She was the muscle there for a bit outside of Hulk.
But so far, the guy that they have got to play Lestat based on the 2 episodes, this dude has nailed it. One interesting thing that I have found is during the commercial breaks, guess what we are getting in January?
There's commercial breaks?
Yeah, on watching it on AMC.
Okay.
Yeah. Come January, we are getting a Mayfair Witches TV show. And I'm going to butcher her name, that Alexandria Daddario. She played, she was in Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief.
Never seen any of the Percy Jackson stuff.
Those are actually surprisingly very good movies. I think you would know her if you saw her. She's the main character in it.
When Leslie and I were in Vancouver back in 2009, they film all kinds of stuff in Vancouver, but they were filming Percy Jackson movie while we were there, so we just kept seeing that stuff all the time.
Yeah,
and we thought we should watch that movie, but we never did.
That's a really good movie. I mean, it's a good movie. It's entertaining. Like all other movies, the first one is the best one. Very few
speaking of movies and filming locations, I haven't watched. We had Hocus Pocus 2 running at the store last Saturday, but I didn't get a chance to watch it. When I was in Boston last September, we went to the oldest continuously operating tavern in the United States. It's called the Bell in Hand, and it's been running continuously since before the Revolutionary War. We tried to go to the second oldest continuously operating tavern in the United States, which is on a little alley street right behind the Bell in Hand. I forget what I think it was called, the Green Dragon or something like that. Anyway, we couldn't go there because they had the entire alley blocked off because they were using it as a filming location for Hocus Pocus 2. So I'm looking forward to seeing Hocus Pocus 2 because I know what it looks like from the outside, so I'll be curious to see how it looks from the inside too. Are you coming on or not, Nick? I sent you the link, bro.
See, I think it would be interesting to watch them actually film a movie. That's one thing I've never seen. I mean, I would like to be standing back behind and actually watch them film it.
It's fun. It's a different thing. It's there's so much that makes a movie that comes afterwards when you marry up the score with it and you have all that stuff going on, the special effects and all that. Where everyone does know thy name.
Mm-hmm.
That's fantastic. Love it, Mike. Love it. But yeah, that's a really good one. I'm curious to see how it looks in the movie. I really am. I dig it. Uh, hey, it looks like somebody may have taken us up on it. Yes.
There she is.
What are you doing, bro? Are you hanging out scaring people? He may have just been murdered.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, now I can hear you.
Okay. I don't know if you got my text or not.
I know.
Oh, I responded and said I'm on my nightly walk with my dog. My stop being fat walk.
Ah, I see that now. Yes.
So
But
I don't want to interrupt your show and not look professional.
Well, as you know, we're all about the professional appearance here.
Hey, I
Yes.
didn't think it was safe around that neighborhood with that address. I mean, do you feel comfortable walking around there?
Yeah, you never know what you're gonna see.
Well, you know,
May
you're
cost
all
you
right there.
may cost you a few dollars, but you never know what you're gonna see.
Mm-hmm.
Is it raining?
It is not, thankfully. What do you think? What would you have done, Alan, if you would have just pulled up to that address?
Well, I saw you sent me the address, and I was like, okay, am I supposed to just like swing by the house or something? What is he? I mean,
did
what
that
is
same
what does
thing
he
to.
want?
I did the same thing to Justin whenever he came to my house for Huntsville. I
Oh,
sent
God.
him.
To Justin Birch?
Yeah, yeah.
That's just
Except
mean,
he.
man. That dude's coming from out of town. He doesn't know.
It was a 6-hour drive, and that's
And
where he
that's where
was
you
addressed
sent
to.
him.
Yeah,
That's just mean.
That's
I'm.
funny.
It is funny. I'm a good person.
He's going to letter your name into a comic book as the devil or something.
No
You know
wonder
what?
he had to take time off to take a nap during the expo. He'd been up all night the night before.
That's just terrible.
That was him and too many tacos.
There's no such thing as too many tacos. We can just put that to bed right now.
I
So, I
think if
mean,
you ask him.
are you walking the dog or are you running from somebody? Do you need help? Because you're like
No, I'm
getting it,
walking.
brother.
Look,
Because you're getting it. You're on the move.
It's my nightly don't be fat walk.
You know, you could like meet me at the gym on Saturday and Sunday mornings.
Whew. Those are my hang out with Ellie days.
Well, I'm usually at the gym by about 8:30 on Saturday mornings.
Well, I have a gym membership to Phase 3 over there that I bought 2 months before we moved, about an hour away from it.
That was poor planning. That was very poor planning. Oh, Lord have mercy.
Right.
So you said that you are nearly finished with the two towers. Is that correct?
He has completely frozen.
There he's back.
Okay, am I back?
Yeah.
It's what I get for moving out here.
So you're almost finished
So
reading
anyways.
the two towers, right?
Oh yes. Really, it's after reading The Hobbit and The Fellowship, Two Towers has been super quick. It's been, I think, my favorite out of all of them because there's so much
It's the
going on.
shortest one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that too. So I've thoroughly enjoyed reading Lord of the Rings.
Because it's amazing.
It really
I'm
is.
telling you, it's such an incredible world.
I've never. Sorry, I have weird people texting me.
Who would do that?
I hate that I've never read that stuff before. However, I'm glad
I'm kind of jealous because you're getting to read it for the first time now, so I can relive when I first read it.
I know. It's really fun, and I'm like trying to find all these different editions and repackaged versions, and I'm buying them. I bought the same book 4 times now at this point.
You've gone down the rabbit hole pretty hard, bro.
I know. And then after
Still
this,
to
I'm
this
reading the
day,
Game of
the only
Thrones.
copies I have of the Hobbit and Lord of the Ring, well, of the Lord of the Rings, is that box set I showed off a couple of weeks ago.
That is super cool. I'm very jealous.
So,
Yeah.
are you serious? Are you still not reading comic books?
No, yeah, I'm still reading Fantastic Four.
No, I mean, so you just like have not picked up Batman or Daredevil?
No new. The only new comic book days books I'm buying, are Mad Cave books, basically for Justin, to support Justin, and then anything Spawn, because they're only $2.99, and you got to help Todd keep it $2.99 and fund his new Spawn movie. And what else, Josh? Oh, Kanto.
Yeah, you've got a handful of other things. Did you see that the writer of Canto has a new book coming out?
No, which one, David or Drew?
Don't remember off the top of my head. I think it's on the
Ooh.
sign-up sheet this month.
I'll have to look at it. But if anybody wants to give me $1,200, there's some original Kanto artwork I want to buy.
I bet.
I'm like, for $1,200, that's not bad, but it's $1,200.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Well, the reason why I'm asking about Batman is I know that Tynan caused you to turn away from the Bat title.
Jump ship, yeah.
Yes.
But Chip Zdarsky just had Batman make one comment in the current run that literally fixed a ton of stuff in my mind. I thought it was great.
Well, that's good.
When he said that Tim Drake is not his soldier, that's his son, I was like, finally, we're getting back to where we're supposed to be.
I don't know. I think at some point, as I'm going through these massive read-throughs, I'm probably going to do all of Batman. Deep in the Golden Age already. But that's what, 1,200 issues? 1,100 issues now? 1050, something like that?
Yeah, it's coming up on 1050.
Oh, sprinklers.
Before long.
Sprinklers. Sorry. Somebody sprinkled it.
Oh, my Lord.
You caught it live.
Sprinklers.
And good night, everyone.
I'm glad to be a
entertainment. Oh my lord, that's just hysterical.
But no, I don't know, man. With new comic book day books, and don't get me wrong, like I still have all of my manga through Josh. To of course support your local comic shop as you do. But new comic book day, I just can't think of like current comic books. And this conversation Dustin and I had, outside of like Batman and Daredevil, like I just don't hear anybody telling me there's anything excellent happening right now. It's kind of sad.
Well,
hurts my feeling.
I can tell you that Daredevil and Batman are excellent right now.
Yeah. My brother-in-law Logan wants me to read Daredevil really, really bad.
Well, as you should, because it's really, really good. Now, this is an interesting
I'm talking about
book.
from the beginning.
Well, you should do that too. That's cool.
Well, I've pretty much decided that I think I'm going to do that.
You need to.
Have you guys read
how
this?
Much better I look. No, but it looks
Did you
awesome.
read this one yet, Alan?
No, I have not. What is that?
This is a reimagining of the Sleeping Beauty story.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing that bothers me is that this guy clearly was not raised on the King James Version of the Bible. He does not know how to speak that kind of early modern English. So all of his stuff is just, it's like, man, this is awful. You're an idiot. That's terrible writing. So, but that quibble aside, the story itself is, it hinges on one important plot point, which is the typical story of Sleeping Beauty, right? She pricks her finger, falls asleep for 100 years, whatever. Prince Charming comes along, kisses her, and voila, everything is great and happy. Well, in this
Yep.
case, he's like, her dad says, yeah, you wake her up, you marry her, go on, live your happy life. And the Prince Charming says, or I marry her, don't wake her up, become the prince, and we keep taking the war to all these neighboring countries, and we just conquer everybody. What do you think about that?
Can't
And
tell if that's
Dad's
creepy
like,
or not.
and Dad's like, I like it.
Okay.
So she wakes up 120 years later or whatever it is, and everything is grown over and everybody is dead and gone that she ever knew. And it's her story of having to figure out her way in this new world where everything just went straight in a handbasket. And it's bad.
That sounds really cool.
It's a really interesting story. Like I said, my only real quibble is the guy he was not raised on the King James. That's very clear. Anybody who was raised on that knows how to speak it better than this guy.
So he was more the NIV kind of guy.
At a minimum. Yeah.
Yeah.
At a minimum. He's trying. It's like he never read any Shakespeare either, right? Like, if you're going to try the these and thous and the dusts and dust and all that stuff, do it right. And he did not do it right. This is correct.
See,
yes, the original Snow White story has some truly gnarly stuff, as does the original Cinderella story. I mean, there's bits about chopping off toes and things to get your foot to fit in that shoe.
Yeah, and the way she woke up in Snow White wasn't particularly pleasant, was it? In the original version?
Uh-oh.
No.
Didn't know
But
that.
no, Briar is a really interesting book. I highly recommend it. Also, a book that I think you would love, and Kaylisa is going to jump on here and tell you all the reasons why, is 8 Billion Genies.
Oh, I've heard that one's excellent. The premise of it sounds amazing.
I think you would absolutely love 8 Billion Genies. As Kaylisa says, if you can see it on your screen, 8 billion genies.
See, I avoided it because of all the spec hype around it. And I'm like, oh, Lord. I just go the opposite way on those things now.
It's one of the things that got hyped, not because of it. It had some, there's only one cover or something like that. It got hyped because it's good.
Yeah.
It's just like early Something's Killing the Children or early Once and Future, which shed a tear for Once and Future. That's over now. It's over now. It's all that I wanted. Now time has run out.
I was going to ask you something.
See, here you go. This is the premise.
Oh,
the world population hits 8 billion, and everyone in the world gets a genie that can grant a single wish. It's amazing, and it's a short run series. So it's not a 40-year commitment.
I really like 6-issue minis.
Number 1 has gone to a fifth or sixth print. Numbers 3 and 4 are already on like a 4th print. They just can't. They haven't figured out yet what the demand is on this book because it's more than they thought.
Hey Nick, that house behind you definitely looks like it could be haunted.
It has a spider on it.
That is definitely the type of house that you find an Ouija board in.
There's a spider.
Don't go to any yard sales there.
And then there's a Minnie and a Mickey. Weirdos.
Speaking of Minnie and Mickey and haunted things, I managed to get my hands on an order of Haunted Mansion salt and pepper shakers.
Nice.
And so I've got some of those coming in up at the store in the next couple of weeks.
That's cool.
It looks like it's the art from the stretching room. So the ballerina on the tightrope and all that stuff. Salt and pepper shakers, perfect for any occasion, but especially Halloween. So yeah, that's awesome stuff, and it makes me quite happy.
Whew.
I mean, he
So-
just went straight to the recliner
Disney.
and collapsed.
He did. So Nick, now that you're sitting down, um, where exactly are you in the two towers? Can you tell us? Once you unlock and come back in?
Oh, am I back?
Yeah, you're back.
Am I back?
You are.
Okay, so cool. I am just past Helm's Deep. I am on I just started the Flotsam and Jetsam chapter.
Flotsam and Jetsam, yep.
Okay, I pronounced that wrong. But yep, literally just started like one page in.
All right, what you will see at this point is a dramatic change from what happens in the movies.
Oh, I've already seen a big change.
Yeah, but in this upcoming scene you're about to get to,
yeah,
it's a very, very big change.
so
And I say it's not a dramatic change from the movies. The movies are a dramatic change from the book.
Yeah.
But that's a pretty significant change.
So the big one that I noticed, and I was kind of confused, and I was like, did I miss something? But the what are they called? The trees, the intus, ints. But like, in the movie, Mary and Pippin. I'm not great with names. Are just hanging out with the ints, and they're discussing stuff because if you're going to talk, it's going to be slow and it's better be worth saying something and that whole shenanigans.
Right.
But in the book, like, they're just going through Saruman's castle and looking for his pipe weed and, all this, that, and another stuff. And I'm like, hold on, that seemed like a little off because it just seemed like it happened differently in the books than the movies.
Well, they showed some of that in the movie, but it was all of like 4 seconds.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe I missed that.
Where
part.
they discover the larder and all the food and the pipe weed and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. And see, that's the thing about like reading it because I feel like I spend so much time on it. And then in the movie, it either doesn't happen or it just happens so quickly. You don't really pick up on it. And I haven't actually watched the movies and God, it's been since I watched The Hobbit the first time probably. And so I'm kind of watching them as I'm reading them. So like as I'm reading stuff, I'll kind of watch a few scenes in the movie to see how it kind of correlates. But yeah, I'm enjoying it.
It's so good. There's one thing, since you've seen the movies, where they get the Palantir there? It happens in the Flotsam and Jetsam chapter.
Okay.
Where they get the Palantir from Saruman.
Mm-hmm.
There's a really important thing that happens in the books after that does not happen in the movie at all.
Mm.
So I will be curious to see what your take is on that when you get to it.
Yeah. Yeah, there's been a bunch of honestly though, and so we haven't had a chance to really talk, but the Hobbit movies are completely ruined for me now because of reading the books.
Because the movies are terrible?
They're not
The
terrible.
first one's good. It hews pretty closely to the books.
Yeah.
But
it's
the
just all
second and third ones, I can sum up for you my real problems with the second and third ones, right? One, the whole Azog Bolg storyline.
Yes, I see that now.
Dumb.
Yes, very much so now.
2, using Radagast the Brown as nothing but comic relief.
Yeah.
Don't care for that.
Yeah.
3, they really, 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 really shortchanged Mirkwood.
Yes.
Big time.
Yep.
4, the forced romance between dwarf and elf.
Very weird.
Forced,
and none of that
terrible.
And bringing back Legolas and all of those guys
Right.
that weren't even in it.
No.
Yeah. It was not. I still love the movies, but now that I've read the book, I'm like, it was perfect. Just leave it alone. My biggest issue though with the Lord of the Rings novels to the movie so far is Tom Bombadil. Okay. That is such a missed opportunity. That would have been so awesome to see this hillbilly in his yellow and blue, running around town. That's what we need. We need Tom Bombadil. Bombadil?
Bombadillo.
Yes.
I'll tell you, he would have never worked because right out of the gate, he's goofy. He would have ruined the vibe. He is very difficult to explain. He can handle the ring. Like, he takes the ring and is like looking at it and blah, blah, blah. It doesn't have any impact on him whatsoever. So your movie's over. Why didn't he just go destroy it?
You just ruined the books for me. That never even crossed my mind. Thank you for that. Because it's one of those
it's because he doesn't process it the same way as everybody else does. He just doesn't get it. So for him, he would like, okay, I'll go destroy it. And he'd forget about it halfway through because he saw a cool tree that he liked. I don't know. Tom Bombadil, he's an interesting character. I can handle him in the books. I thought leaving him out of the movie was a really smart choice.
Yeah, I guess. When you put it like that, I'm like, okay.
I mean, how would you explain him in any kind of short order to anybody?
He's a god.
He's
but I
not.
know they kind of want that. But he.
They don't have gods. There is one god.
I know.
In Tolkien. That's Iluvatar. You have the Valar and the Maiar, which are essentially archangels and angels. They never say that he is either of those things, although they do mention that Goldberry, his wife, is probably a lesser Maiar.
Yeah. Well, he's some form of higher power of something, right? He's got to be.
He's something.
And that's what I love about him, because it's just like this weird hillbilly.
He is. He's like a weird hillbilly drinking homemade hooch as he tromps around the woods in his bad outfit, singing songs about himself.
I love it so much.
He's kind of like a prototype Santa Claus in some weird way.
Yeah. See, what I really want to dig into as I get further into this, I'm going to walk outside because my daughter's coming downstairs to go to bed. But as I get more into this, what I really want to do is be able to understand more about the universe of it, right? And that aspect of things. So much.
You're breaking up on us there, Nick. But I will tell you, if you want to get more into the universe stuff, is after you read.
You know what I mean?
Oh, well, you broke up for a really good chunk there. And now you're gone.
Yep, he's gone.
Gone altogether.
I'm having to look up who you are talking about because I've never actually read the book series.
Oh, you should.
There we go. I'm back.
From outer space?
I don't know. I would literally walk
that look upon your face. I should have changed that stupid lock. I should have. Oh, sorry.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
So anyway, what were you saying, Nick?
Am I back? I'm back.
You are now.
Okay. I was saying that like the whole universe, the Tolkien verse, however you want to call it, is what interests me more so than anything, right? Like the stories are fine, but I find myself questioning what's outside of Middle Earth. You know, what are like everything else, if that makes sense.
Well, for that, you need to read the Silmarillion, my friend.
I've got that coming. I've got it coming. I have the illustrated version pre-ordered.
Yeah, you'll have to read the Silmarillion. And I will tell you, the opening bit of the Silmarillion, if you're not ready for it, is it can be a challenging read. It's the creation myth of the world. And it's a slow boil. But once you get through it and you say, okay, I see how he created the world. I see what he did. And then you get into what happens from there in the span of ages.
Yeah,
it's phenomenal. Now, you don't have to wait until all of that comes in. If you want a quick summary, you can read the appendices to at the end of The Return of the King.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of stuff in there. And you'll see some of the stuff in there that they used in the Hobbit movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It might have been you who told me some of that already. But what I plan to do is after I'm finished reading them, I want to go back and reread The Hobbit. Hey, there you go.
That's fantastic. Uh-oh.
Yes. All right, I'm about to have to jump off. Ellie's. Today's Sky's birthday. And by the
Oh,
way, that
well,
was Sky.
happy birthday.
That was Sky commenting earlier on everything. So if anything did not make sense, that was her. Yes, I can. All right. Do you hear her?
Yes,
All
I
right, it's
hear
not
her.
nice. Say hey.
Hi, Ellie.
All right. Well, I will talk to you guys later. I'm going to go deal with this.
Hey, Ellie, put some tape in your dad's ears.
She can't
Maybe
hear you
some
guys.
silly
Yes, I will.
putty.
Hey, Josh. Josh said, this is Josh from the comic shop. Say hello. Say what's up, Chuck. All right. Tell him say bye.
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 All right. Sorry for interrupting y'all's show.
It's all good, man. Y'all have a great night.
You too. Bye-bye.
All right, bye.
So every time he changed places, I changed his name, and he
I
never
saw
even
that.
noticed.
Window liquor was my favorite one.
He never even noticed.
No. I would like to revisit this statement from Tots because he's dead on accurate. Yes, watching and reading at the same time is begging for disappointment. I get his impulse to do that, but that's absolutely saying, why did you make this decision? You had the same book I have. Come on. Oh,
But,
he says he saw. He says he saw.
That goes for every book series.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we can all agree everybody enjoyed the Harry Potter movies, but if you read the books, the movies are kind of trash compared to the books.
I will say for the Harry Potter, I thought that the first two movies were very, very good.
Mm-hmm.
And they were really close to the books. When Ron Harris died, nothing you could do about that. But he was Dumbledore.
He was, but the guy that they got as the replacement, I can't think of his name. I thought he did a really good job.
He didn't play him the same way at all. He played him like he was up to something instead of like he was just. He played him like he knew he was up to something instead of that he was innately up to something. He played him. He didn't have the warmth to the character that Ron Harris brought. But I thought those first two movies were fantastic. I thought movies 3 and 4 were pretty good. I thought movie 5 was a big letdown, and from there they just got continually worse. I mean, what was it, movie 5, where the entire special effects budget was spent on shattered glass?
Yep.
Like, what is this? Broken glass. Sure enough.
Well,
that's your entire special effects budget.
Out of the entire book series and out of the movies, 3 is my favorite one, Prisoner of Azkaban. Because that's literally when the story grew up. I mean, that was the moment that everybody was forced to grow up.
Yeah, it was. I've watched 5, 6, and 7, but I mean, like, one of those key little fundamental things, right? When they fly on their brooms from Hogwarts or wherever to London, in the books, she expressly says they flew really high to stay out of sight and to keep things on the down low. So what did the movie do? It's a chase scene, meow, 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 down at ground level through the. I'm like, what is this?
Yep.
That's completely the opposite for no reason at all, other than you thought it would be a good visual. You could have shortened this scene and just shown it in little snippets to give the idea this is taking a long time. You could have done a lot and kept the spirit of the book. You didn't have to change it. It was a gratuitous change for no reason other than we want to see where they're flying super fast on brooms. Yeah, that was irritating. If anybody can't tell, I have opinions about things.
Well, I mean, here's my thing on that. We are the ones that actually spent the money on the books. We are the ones that actually invested time into it. I know that when it comes to a movie, they're always going to take artistic liberties, or they're going to try to change things or more modernize it or stuff. And then when people like us complain about it, we catch flack from the people that absolutely know nothing about what we're complaining. Okay, when you make these changes, you're ruining my childhood. If you cannot write cursive, you cannot be in an argument with me. How about that?
That's a good metric. I'm not
So
That's the first I've heard of that one.
Look at it. If you want to argue with me,
Get off
go
my
learn to
lawn.
write cursive, and then you can argue about crap from my youth.
I'll tell you, the changes sometimes. I mean, I understand that you have to make some changes. I absolutely understand that. It's a different medium. There are different things going on. I absolutely understand that you have to make some changes. And sometimes changes make sense and they work out well. There were changes in the Return of the King movie. I believe it was Return of the King. Yeah, it was. Where they had Pippin and Gandalf talking, and Gandalf tells him he gives him the story about the place you go when you die, essentially a far white country and all this stuff, right? In the books, that speech is not from Gandalf, right? So I could get in a twist that why is Gandalf giving this speech and those aren't his lines, or I could say this was well executed and it fit the spirit of the book, and it borrowed these lines and it fit the mood and it conveyed the spirit of the book. Or I could get upset about it. I don't care. Oh, Lord have mercy. Mike, you're awesome. You're awesome. Thanks, man. You have a great night. I don't care about changes that are made as long as they are true to the spirit of something, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I look at the upcoming Black Panther film, and I look at the whole Namor character, right? Is it Namor if it's not Atlantis? All I need is one line in the movie where they say such and such, also known as to you people in Europe as Atlantis, because y'all are idiots and you didn't understand what we said right the first time or whatever. I don't care. As long as they acknowledge that it's Atlantis.
To me, what they've shown us, I'm going to go see the movie, but what they've shown us so far is Namor in name only.
We'll see. We'll see. Did he possess the king in the books in the movie? No, he did not. In the books, it's all Wormtongue. Now, Wormtongue is acting as Saruman's agent, but it's just Wormtongue poisoning the king, and they call him Wormtongue for a reason because it's a hideous, gross name, and he's just continually pouring poison into the king's ear. And it's not nearly as visual or dramatic as what they did in the movie. But it's the same concept. They just they wanted to show it more rather than have the lengthy drawn out. This guy keeps giving the king bad advice, and he keeps telling him that all these people are against him, and he keeps promoting and doing all this fear mongering and all this stuff to where he cripples the king and makes him totally weird. So no, in the books, it's not the same way at all. You didn't miss that. It's the effects of Wormtongue, and honestly, it's kind of more scary that way because Wormtongue doesn't have any magical powers. He's just gross and evil. And the fact that you can do that to somebody and twist their mind up that badly just by being a normal person.
I wish I had that
being
power.
Evil. Pretty sure you do have that power.
Well,
But anyway, so Namor. If we look at the presentation or the depiction of Namor, I don't know. I think the aesthetic is really cool. I think the whole Mesoamerican aesthetic looks great. Look at him trying to butter us up. What's happening, Blue Hellion?
And now if he'd have just showed up with a birthday cake and some buttercream icing, shoot, it'd been on then.
Or he could have just mailed us a jar of buttercream icing. You know that's true.
That works too.
Just sends each of us a gift certificate for $3.99 to Publix.
That's all I need.
It's the exact amount of buttercream icing. Here you go. I will say I'm more of a cream cheese icing kind of guy myself, but buttercream's good in a pinch.
It's all good. Let's just be honest. It's all good.
It is. That's true. But the visuals, the aesthetics, I think it's really cool to see that Mesoamerican aesthetic for Namor. I don't have any heartburn with that at all. I hope they get the personality right, and I hope they at least pay homage to Atlantis. Because if they just made up some wackadoo kingdom and were like, hey, because Atlantis carries a mythos with it, it has a gravitas to it. We all know Atlantis. Everybody on the planet knows Atlantis. And if you chuck that out the window for some place nobody's ever heard of, you automatically have to rebuild all of that. It's like you sold your house, but you didn't get any equity, right? So now you have to build this whole new thing, and it's just not going to be the same. There's no way you can build overnight something the whole world has had on its consciousness for 1,500 years.
Yep.
You just can't do it, or it's longer than that, 2,500 years, whatever it is. You just can't do it. It's that's setting themselves up to fail, and I think that would be a problem. People have been complaining about the guy's physique who's playing Namor, and I think that's really interesting because they're like, he clearly skipped leg day and arm day, and like, I don't know about y'all, but have you ever seen swimmer muscles? Swimmer muscles are very, very different from bodybuilder muscles. Look at Michael Phelps. That dude's the fastest man in the water. He ain't built like, he's built for swimming.
But, at the same time, I don't really think about stuff like that. I mean, let's be honest. We're not all going to be built like Jason Momoa. I mean,
I'm built exactly like Jason Momoa, but I keep it all under wraps so that people can't tell.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I just keep my hair cut short. Yeah, I just... Hush.
Dude, do not send a jar of icing to that place.
So, I mean, the whole, he doesn't look like a superhero. He's not built like a superhero. I got an idea. Let's just write our own comic book character where the superhero is short and fat. How about that? I mean, not all superheroes have to be jacked up, muscle-bound steroid freaks. So, I mean, I could really and truly care less how he's built. I'm more of they've completely and totally changed the entire character just by removing him from Atlantis.
Yeah, that's my only real beef with it at all, based on what I've seen so far. And if they make any mention at all of Atlantis, I'll be okay. That will satiate me. So if you're watching Marvel, it's not too late. You still got time in your post-production to drop that in there. Let me rephrase. If you're watching and you care at all what this one person thinks, you just made me think of something a second ago. You talk about the appearance of characters. All superheroes didn't used to look the same, right?
Correct.
Spider-Man was never built the same way as Thor. Cyclops was called Slim because he was skinny and he didn't have a whole lot of bulk. Now he looks like everybody else, right? It's a shame that they've made them all look that way.
Well, that started in the early 90s. Because, when you look at well, sorry. But if you really look at, say, like those original X Factor comics, and those came out in mid 80s, yeah, they were more normal looking. But then when you start getting into the 90s and you start getting into the Rob Liefelds, the Jim Lees, and all those guys, that's really when they started blowing up.
For sure. Jim Lee changed Cyclops pretty dramatically.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, I think they look great and everything, but we went for years with these muscles on top of muscles on top of muscles, and that's what people have gotten used to. So now when they do cast Namor and he doesn't look like that, it's like, oh my God, this dude looks like crap. That this isn't Namor. He doesn't look right. Well, to me, he's not Namor because he's not from Atlantis. How about that?
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm absolutely with you on that. I think that's interesting.
I mean, you go back to the, Submariner comics, in the 60s and 70s. He was like skinny. He was lean. I mean,
he was very lean, and his head was twice as big as it should be. Yeah, it was shaped like a triangle. Flat on the top, triangle with those crazy arched eyebrows.
Yep.
So yeah, I get you. I get you.
I mean, it's not going to stop us from going to see it. I mean, we'll still
Nope.
go check it out. We'll go see it.
I'm really looking forward to it. Actually, I think it's going to be a fantastic movie. I don't think that Coogler and the rest of the folks who came into this that they would have made a second movie if they didn't have faith in what they were going to put on screen. Because and it's clear from the first trailer, as much as anything, they're making this movie to honor Chadwick Boseman, and they're not going to let him down. I think they're going to make one heck of a movie.
And I know that it's come out recently that Kevin Feige is now discussing possibly recasting T'Challa one day.
No, I did not.
Yeah, that's been kind of talked about.
Is it something that can be said on a family show? Because I didn't hear it.
Yeah, they had just talked about just recasting him.
Recasting Black Adam?
No, recasting Chadwick Boseman, recasting Black Panther.
Well, this is what we're talking about right now because he got my interest all piqued.
Last night about Black Adam. Oh, I have no idea what he said last night. But back to what I was saying, I want it to end with M'Baku taking over as Black Panther. To me, that would be the logical choice.
I don't have any heartburn with Shuri being Black Panther. She was Black Panther in the comics.
Yep.
And it made sense. I got no issue with that. Nick, are you going to tell us what The Rock said or not? Don't make me wait to smell what The Rock's been cooking.
No, but I did see where they he's about to send the link. Apparently the post-credit scene for Black Adam has already hit online and got people all tore up.
About what?
About the post-credit scene apparently leaked earlier today, but The Rock has already leaked information about the movie himself the other day about who's actually in it.
Well, yeah, I knew he had been doing that.
Yeah, and I mean,
he's as bad about leaking stuff out as Tom Holland is.
I mean, it's not going to stop us from going to see it,
Yeah, I will say I like The Rock. I like him quite a lot, and I'll watch him in just about anything. I've never cared about Black Adam.
Yeah.
I don't have any investment in the character whatsoever, so I'm not itching to go see it. I thought that the Shazam movie was fantastic. It was Shazam and the first Wonder Woman were the best DC movies that they've made outside of, for my money, the Nolan Batman trilogy. I thought Wonder Woman was great. Weak third act, but the first two acts were fantastic, and I thought Shazam was a great movie.
Yep.
So, I'll watch Black Adam. We'll see how it goes.
I want to see it because we are finally going to get lesser known characters pushed to the forefront.
Well, that's DC is finally doing that, and that's what Marvel started with. I mean, when they started with Iron Man, that he's a B-list character or even a C-list character in 2008 when they started with Iron Man, and it was a perfect choice because you could do a lot of things and people weren't going to get up in arms because you weren't ruining the Fantastic Four or X-Men or Spider-Man. And I thought that was really brilliantly done.
Nick said he emailed you the link.
Yeah, I saw.
Okay.
But if they're going to introduce characters like Dr. Fate and Hawkman, I'm all on board with that. I think that's going to be great.
Yep.
I'm more interested in those characters than I am in Black Adam.
Yeah, and I mean, when I found out that they cast Pierce Bronson as Dr. Fate, I was just like, okay, yeah, I have to see this movie now. This is a perfect casting.
Well, I will tell you what. They had a Dr. Fate cover of Black Adam that has the Pierce Brosnan in costume on there.
Yep.
I ordered one for you.
Thank you.
I knew you were going to want that. So I got one of those for you. We are running long, which we always do when we don't have a guest on or we don't have a planned guest. We have a surprise guest tonight. But before we head out for the night, is there anything you want to tell folks about stuff that's upcoming aside from Hie Thee Hither to Spirit Halloween, make a donation, help the kids in the hospital here in town, the Women's and Children's Hospital, and put a pie in Peter Lewis's face?
We are a little over 2 weeks from Halloween.
Yep.
Watch more horror movies. That is my public service announcement. Watch more horror movies.
If you haven't watched Werewolf by Night yet on Disney Plus, do that. Get to that. You're gonna love it. It's fantastic.
Nick Ellis is probably the only person I know that I can carry on an entire conversation with and it be nothing but gifts.
He is gifted in that.
Yes, he is.
He has a genius for that. Anything particular happening up at the store? Coming up, we are going to be having a kids costume contest for Halloween on the 29th, on that Saturday. So bring your kids out in costume. That'll be great. Last year we had somebody show up. We had a bunch of brothers all show up, and the second oldest brother dressed as a toilet. Had a roll of toilet paper and the whole 9 yards.
Okay, then.
It was what he wanted to do. He built it out of cardboard. It was spectacular. I have to admit, the creativity was great. The sense of humor was funny. It was fantastic. Do not publish that. That is actually incorrect. Factually wrong.
Not really. I mean, look at how he worded it. Everything is 100% retail.
Oh, I thought he said 100% off retail. But no, you're right. He is correct the way that's worded. 100% retail. But I might haggle a little bit.
So is this the, is it what, Halloween Comics Fest? Isn't that what it's named?
Yeah, but they quit really doing that because that was a Diamond thing. And now half the publishers are not at Diamond anymore. So they have different publishers put out some Halloween books, but the Halloween Comic Fest event itself does not really exist anymore.
Oh, one thing upcoming, and I think I saw it on the sign-up list recently, and I'm pretty sure it's not going to be too late. Y'all need to sign up or at least make arrangements to purchase the first issue of Dead Mall. This is not a spec book. Friend of the show, Justin Birch, is the letterer on this book, and everybody needs to go buy a copy because when he gets talked into coming to the Pop Culture Expo, we want him to spend an entire day signing them and not able to do anything else just because it'll aggravate him.
That's a brilliant idea, and I love it. Also, the premise for Dead Mall looks really good.
If I can get a Dead Mall #1 signed by Justin Birch in front of CGC or CBCS, I will send it off to get graded. Just because I think it would be funny.
As well, you should get him to do a remark.
Get him to do a remark.
Yeah, he needs to draw something on there. That'd be perfect. But yeah, we've got that coming up. Local Comic Shop Day is the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. I'm not in love with that time. They send out a survey to retailers every year, whether you want it the Saturday before Thanksgiving, the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, or the Saturday after Thanksgiving. Who decided the day before Thanksgiving was a good day? I don't know. Apparently enough retailers thought that was good, so maybe it works for somebody. Just not for me, but we're going to have that and the 8 Billion Genies blank cover where they're going to have just the outline of a genie on a blank cover. And they're doing an art contest where you can fill in the genie however you want. And they've got some actually really cool prizes for the art contest. So you fill out yours, you make your own little genie, you customize your own little genie, and then send the picture. I think it's on Instagram, maybe Twitter too. And they're going to judge it. And the winner gets a signed omnibus edition of the book, a hardcover, signed, and also the store that they want to sponsor, the store they bought it at, also gets a signed hardcover of the book. So I thought that was pretty cool.
And what day is that on?
That's the day before Thanksgiving. So I believe that is the 23rd this year, November 23rd. Let me go take a look.
I'll have to.
Yes, November 23rd.
I'll have to. Are you going to be working the store that day or? for that, or what's your plan?
I'm sure that I will be. Yes.
All right, so I will have to bring the bug up there to let her do that. I think she'll enjoy that.
Yeah, it'll be great. It'll be a lot of fun. Hope a lot of people do that. Well, see, that's the reason I think it's a terrible idea. I think a lot of people are going to be traveling the day before Thanksgiving. I think that was a poor choice, but I'm just one voice among many who responds to these surveys, so we'll see. We need to do that 24 hours in a comic book shop thing sometime, Nick.
Mm-hmm.
And Dustin and Alan and whoever else. That'll be a hoot.
She would be the very first one emoji you put up there.
Stink bug?
Nope,
That's a ladybug.
Yep, just because of what her name is and the way it all worked out.
Good to do. Good to know.
Nick, I've already said I will grill. We will eat all day long. And then when we're done eating, we'll eat a little more, and then we will send somebody to Publix to get us a tub of buttercream icing.
I like how you think. But all right, let's let everybody go for the night. Appreciate everybody jumping on. As always, y'all are awesome. If you're watching this tomorrow while you should be working, good for you. Just don't get caught or don't get in trouble, because that would make us all sad. And we will catch you guys next time. So even though not a quiz show, here's our traditional ending. Adios.